right there in the dark room. And I'm like getting chills in my spine. And I said, "And what did you do?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I just thought, that's interesting." And I roll over and went to bed. Hold it, stop, no, stop. Now, let's take a reality check here. What normal person would open their eyes in the middle of the night, see a glowing freaking blue hand sticking out of their closet door and go, "Oh, no problem," and roll over and go back to sleep? And he said, "Well, what would you do?" I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'd be out of there. I'd be staying at a motel that night, and the next day my house would be up for sale. I'm like, no. There's no rolling over and going back to sleep when glowing blue hands are freaking sticking out of the closet. This is a big deal. But, to each their own, I guess. N1BCG.
And then he's talking about how he put it up in his wife. He told his wife to get rid of it. And then his kid starts saying that they're seeing a blue hand coming out of the ceiling. Number one, I'm with you, Clark. If I see a blue hand coming out of the closet, I wouldn't be rolling over. I'd be running out of the room. I don't know if I'd be staying in a motel, but I would definitely not be in that room, number one. And number two, if my kid was telling me that they were seeing a blue hand reaching through the ceiling of all places, I'd be a little freaked out and have my house exorcised. But it seems like Steve has been experiencing things of such for quite a while, and kind of, it has things that seem to follow him wherever he goes. I think he mentioned another story about he was on vacation or something, and he was telling them to leave him alone, and they were trying to do this and do that, and so I think he might have a little different perspective on it than most quote-unquote normal folk.
Well, see, this is the advantage of renting. If you're renting and you see a blue hand sticking out of your closet in the middle of the night, you just say, "I'm out of here," and you're done. If you own the house, now you've got a problem.
Right, exactly. So, that was fun, though. The Extraterrestrial and Supernatural Net on October 31.
Yeah, well, and then Ken, UDZ, those stories were awesome. I know I already said this, but I have to say it again. I want to hear more of that stuff. Not by myself, and definitely with all the shack lights on. He was going into one of his stories, and it was right when I was making dinner. I was like, all right, well, I have a radio in the kitchen, so I'll continue listening in there. And, there's no sense in wasting electricity, so I had all the lights off, and there was just kind of like, some 7-watt night lights on the wall outlets and stuff. So I went in there, and I'm, kind of getting the dinner going, checking how it's going, and the radio was on, and he's telling the story about the ghost business going on. It's like, you know what? This is really freaky. This is real. This net is actually too much of a success here. But he does this stuff. This is something I need to ask Ken about more. He was he was talking about the EMF receiver. It's like a field strength meter. So then you got to wonder if your Lafayette, 27 megahertz CB field strength meter will detect ghosts. If you can set it for field strength meter position, you've got your forward, reflected, and then field strength intensity, and then you put your 6-inch whip on the top, right? And you just sit there and you've got your Ouija board ready to go. Now they've got Ouija board simulators. You can download Ouija Simulator 2.0 and put your hands on your phone and use an app. But using a field strength meter, do a little Q&A with the spirits. I'm telling you, the supernatural or the extraterrestrial and supernatural net night did not in any way, shape, or form or being get enough time. That's my opinion. N1BCG.
I agree. Make sure I got it. Yeah, he's talking about an EMF detector, or in his case, he was using a K2 meter. They sell different kinds, but K2 seems to be one that's widely used by folks. How is this? I'm trying to order chicken. It's fried chicken from down the street, and it's like, I feel like it's like overcharging me. Anyway, you can get them for relatively cheap, and I remember somebody was looking them up on eBay. You can get them. Bob was KBW. You can get them for like $10 or $15 on eBay. I don't know if they're the K2 meters though. But it was cool. It was fun. Luckily, I haven't had anything like that happen at my house where I live now. When my ex was still alive, when we were together, when we lived in Delaware before I moved to this place 2 years ago, we used to have drawers that would slide themselves out in our bedroom, closet doors that we would know we were closed and be open in the middle of the night. And her son, he was about 1 at the time, would wake up in the middle of the night screaming his head off, and the closet door would be wide open in his room, and it was closed when we went to bed. Knocking on it sounded like knocking, and cabinets opening and closing, and it was creepy. And then when we moved here, it seemed to follow us. And then I broke up with her, kicked her out, and then things seemed to stop. And she passed away last February, and she always said that she was going to haunt me. When she ever passed away, she always said she was going to come back to haunt me. And things, I don't know if it was just me in my head, because I was upset about her passing, and I was just like, but I always felt, it was weird, I felt like somebody was watching me for 2 or 3 weeks. It was really, really weird. It's like I would get out of the shower, and I feel like I'm here by myself, and I feel like I should, and I'm really with the bathroom door closed, but I feel like I should cover up. It was really weird. It just felt like I was being watched all the time. Then the feeling kind of subsided after a few weeks. But like I said, I don't know if it was just me being upset and getting in my head about it, but yeah, I've experienced some things over the years. And houses when I was a child. The one house I lived in with my mother. The house connected to it. 7 children died in a fire 2 years before we moved in. They had just rebuilt the house. It was a twin, and we just moved in after they had rebuilt the house next door. Then come to find out, the old couple that lived in the house both died in the house before we moved in. And some crazy stuff used to happen at that house. Fans flying off my desk. My mom had a party one night, and her upstairs room was her room was in the attic, and she kept the door locked because she had a bunch of people over, and what the hell is this? And at the end of the party, she comes freaking out at me. What did you do to my room? What did you do? I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? And apparently her room looked like it was ransacked. CDs out of cases thrown across the room. The bed was all disheveled on me. Clothes out of the drawers on the floor. And then her boyfriend was like, the door's been locked the whole time. She's like, well, no, I went up there and unlocked it. I thought he went in there. Unlocked it and went in there, because me and my friends were over. I must have been 7 or 8 years old at the time. But then 2 nights later, I was sleeping up in her room because that's where the air conditioner was. And I was laying on this little fold-out couch, and in her bed, it looked like somebody was sitting up and leaning up against the wall. And on the alarm clock, you could see somebody's shoulder and arm sitting up in the bed. It was the creepiest thing ever, man. Yeah, that was a freaky house. W3MMR.
See that? Anybody want to add to the stories? We can do the extraterrestrial and supernatural net night redux. No, I think you just freaked everyone out.
Is that fan loud? It's my turbo boost.
You can also drop your compression level and get rid of the fan.
I could do that. Hold on. Hold on. Alright, I dropped that a little bit there. That could have helped. Yeah, that helped out a lot. W3MMR.
All right. I mean, if you're always up on the mic, you don't need that much compression. So then that gets rid of a lot of background noise.
Yeah, my thing is I talk really soft, and I don't yell into the microphone. I'm generally a soft talker. And I usually talk about 2 inches away from the mic. But I don't need that fan on all the time. It's an intake fan for my amplifier. It's like a 150 CFM fan that I just flip on when I see the exhaust temp starts getting up there, and I just flip it on, and it cools down my amp within 30 seconds. The exhaust temperature drops 75 degrees, so I don't need it on all the time.
See, now your DX100, aka a real man rig, doesn't need all that fan stuff.
Nope, I do have a fan on it though on the case. Above the modulators, but I never turn it on. I just put it there when I was restoring it and thought it would be a good idea, but it's not. When I first got it, somebody had a fans over the finals. I took that out of there. I never need that.
Ever since I got to Valiant, El Valiente, it's NMV, not my Valiant. So at any moment, any day, I can get a phone call, a text message, or an email saying, I want my Valiant back, and then I'm off. I'm off a 160 and 40. Oh my God. Although it's in barter for having an FM station at my house. Can you believe that? I actually have an FCC license upstairs for an FM broadcast station here. But so that's his station, and in return, like for rent, I get to use his El Valiente. But I run it without the case because it generates, I don't know about the DX100, but I know that the Valiants, when they're in the case, yeah, the case is perforated, like on the sides and the bottom and the top and all that stuff, but it gets so hot. It makes me cringe when I see people's QRZ pages. Oh, here's Jack, and they've got a Valiant, and then they've got something sitting right on top of it. It's like, oh my God, you have no idea how much heat should be coming up through the top, which you've now basically cut off. For people like that, I say, I have an idea. Go find a down ski jacket and stand out in the sun at the beach, in August. Now you know what you're putting your Valiant through. So I run this Valiant here. I'm not on it now, but I run the Valiant with no case. It's naked. Yep, naked Valiants. And it's just got free air flowing over it, and it's a happy transmitter.
W2SDR.
Good evening, Father. I don't keep anything on top of mine. I have a picture of my son and a little old school alarm clock, like with the two bells on top. But besides that, I don't keep anything on top. And that thing runs cool. It doesn't really get that hot. And like I said, I don't ever turn the fan on or anything. There's no need for it. It just sits on top of the case. It's not inside or anything. What's going on, Pop?
Nothing much. We're just watching a movie upstairs, and I could put it on down here in the shack, I guess, and just hanging out. Good evening, Clark. Whoever else may also be on there. I had emailed him. I'll see about the virtual serial port, so he'll probably send me a link.
Oh, okay. Why? Well, you couldn't Download it with the thing I gave you?
Well, there was no place to download.
What are you talking about? There was a zip file. In that email I sent you, there was a link with a zip file link.
There is?
Yes, I'm looking at it. Hold on a second here.
One key, and I'll tell you I got it.
If you go to show quoted text, okay, here is the link to VSP Manager setup file, k5fr.com/binary/VSPM setup 103.zip.
I got it.
There you go.
I just wonder if that works. That's really, really weird how you can email an EXE. Usually that stuff gets blocked out by spam stuff.
Well, it's not. It's a zip file.
Yeah, that's real. But it can't. Well, I'll do it on the other computer. But okay, I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
Well, cool. At least you got it now. That should work out for you. When's it supposed to be here?
Thursday.
Cool. Cool beans. No more crashing.
Well, I don't know. Go ahead, guys. Continue on. I don't want to interrupt.
I just ordered some fried chicken.
All right. Oh, let's get on the right microphone. There we go. Now we're back in Studio A. Good evening, N1BCG.
I got a phone call. Stand by. W3MMR.
All right. So this is the time where we get a miniature pincher settled in. I've got my fresh adult beverage, my blanket because it's an unheated ham shack. Typical. Yeah, you guys have complaints. I got complaints right here. No heat in the ham shack. All right, here we go. Let's get the air chair configured right. And now we are hunkered down and ready, like position, ready for a fine business. Now let's shoot higher. A double plus fine business ham radio night on 3885. And that is your cue to key up.
Oh, cool. So it's just you two guys in here so far.
It seems we have effectively scared everyone off. I think Perry did that with his ghost story stuff.
Oh, I don't scare easy.
Well, that just sounds like any other ham radio operator.
I'm back.
Oh, that's true. KB8SMU.
Southern Michigan University, good evening.
Good evening.